On this video, welcome to my nightmare. This passenger door on this truck has been I'll use the word, it's been a bitch to get to fit. And it's not anything I did wrong. It's all because of a damn repop panel. I don't want to be in this video bad mouthing repop panels, but we all know repops don't fit. And let me tell you what, the one I got, the door bottom down here, don't fit for squat. At least the one I had. I'll show you a lot of what I had to do to cut and refit and cut and move to make this thing fit. And if I did it wrong, then I did it wrong. But it's the only way I can make this door fit. I'm an old body man. I'm confident I did it right. If I didn't, then so be it. It's my damn truck. But I'm not, I'm not some hack that doesn't know what he's doing. And I hate to be arrogant, but that's the truth. But anyway, this door kicked my butt, but I got it in the end. I got it figured out. So come on and enjoy the ride. I think I got a few good tricks in here that'll teach you what you need to do if you run into the same situation. And hopefully at the end of the video, you guys will stick around to the end. But I'd like to know from you guys that have done this same thing. This is a repop panel I bought from AMD, who I think gets it from TriPlus. I think it's the people that actually make it. I'd like to know from you guys that have done this same repair if you've had the same trouble I did. Because that thing out of the box would not fit. End of story. If you've done it and got it to work, either you got lucky or maybe, I don't know. But mine wouldn't fit. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to show you the highlights, the lowlights, what I did. Make this damn thing fit. It fits good. Here, watch this. I'm not trying to, be all whatever, but, it opens up and it shuts like new money. Now, granted, the rubbers aren't in there, but as far as alignment goes, it fits and looks good. Here, let me show you the alignment right quick. Just real quick. So I've got a good fender gap. I've got a good gap. Now again, I know the light's causing shadows. I've got a good gap back here. The bottom is okay. The bottom is kind of iffy because I'm gonna have to rework that by hand anyway. I'll explain more about that later. But the critical spots, the rear gap is good. Body line here is good. Body line here is good. The front gap is good. Body line here is good. And here is good. The gap around the jamb looks really good. It is a little tight right here. Maybe it was always like that from the factory, or maybe the way I've got it adjusted now. I may or may not come back and try to tweak that. That's a story for another day down the road. This is not the gapping video. Gapping is later. That's another whole separate video after I get the skin welding on. This video is just about getting the damn thing to fit. So anyway, here we go. I mentioned 2 or 3 times on both doors, I put new door bottoms on. I cut them from here, cut it off right here. I've got the original bottoms. Hang on a second. This is what's left of the 2 original door bottoms after I cut them apart. The bottom of this one, I think this is the passenger door. The bottom of this one was almost completely gone. Here's the driver's side. They were both in horrible shape. So I bought new replacements from, so they were lowered patch panels for the door bottoms. And they didn't fit worth a toot. They fit, but the ends all down in here, the way it was molded and shaped, and the front side was nowhere near factory. The edges were too rolled over. It just didn't fit. So I had to do, you can see some joints left from welding where I had to cut it apart here. I cut it in several places to make it fit. I wound up actually cutting out part of the old door jambs that I could salvage and welded it back in because they were just so out of shape, especially on the front, which you can't really see a lot of that work. But it's all, I had to cut it all up under here and back on the inside. I know you can't see it now. And that was all done long before I ever thought about having a YouTube channel. I've got some photographs if I ever decide to show them, like a slideshow. Well, what I'm doing now, and the driver's side or the passenger side is the one that fit the worst when I put it on. The bottom back here was jammed back into the back of the jamb, both too low and too far back. And the first thing you're thinking is, I put it on in the wrong place. And there's some possibility to that, I might have got it a little out of whack. But I was very careful. I'm an old body man, so I know how to put panels on, you know, and line them up. So I was very careful to try to get them back where I thought they should go. And I think I did, but maybe I didn't, but you know. But anyway, so I've had to, in hanging this door, I've had to come back and cut out this section here and cut it again and do a bunch more shaping in here to get this jamb to pull forward and up so I can actually get the door to close without it rubbing on the bottom of the jamb, or without it rubbing on the inner jamb, the door jamb itself. So I've done that, and then the front, the same deal. It was made. This inner panel was made too wide right here, so I had to cut it and cut a strip out of it and push it in order to get the door panel to suck up flat where it needed to be. It was pooched out real far. And you can say I've done a bunch more work in here that I can't, you know, really show now. But anyway, I had to cut a piece out right here because I was trying to get some more clearance in back here in my door hinge. It was binding up on the edge of the door hinge down here at the pin where you can't see. Hold on. I had a flashlight. What did I do with it? So you can see the bottom of the door pin right there. It was binding up down in there. So anyway, I have done all that. I've got the door now, I think, fitting as good as I'm going to get it to fit. I've got the latch on and the striker on, and I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I've got the latch on and the striker on, and it shuts. It shuts good. I will point out I don't have the door gaskets in, and those will affect how your door shuts a lot, especially if it's too tight when you try to shut it. My door's got just a bit of a twist to it, but I'm almost certain when I close it and it hits against the inner jamb, I can set it, you know, when I latch it. It's actually a little bit too high at the moment, but when I put the skin back on, that's going to add a little bit of weight. I guess I can show putting the skin back on kind of how I do it. I mentioned before I use Clecos. These are Clecos, I think they're like the aircraft, come out of the aircraft industry many years ago. I'm sure there are a lot of the experimental aircraft guys still use them, and the car guys have been using them for years too. Anyway, it's got a special little plier here, tool. You put it in the plier, and then the little end here, you know, extends out. You drill an 1/8 inch hole, put this in, and let it go, and it's a spring, and it holds the panels on instead of having to use screws. Screws are nice. I used to use screws back in my body shop days. They're nice, and they'll pull up really tight, and you know, they're good. But these things are just fast and easy when you're like hanging panels and things like that. Also, I mentioned before, before I cut the skins off, I drilled lineup holes for the Clecos to go through, 1/8 inch holes for the Clecos to fit, to use as lineup holes later when I'm putting the skin on and off, checking it, you know, fitting it 15 times. That's what I'm about to do now. Those lineup holes are critical. They're very important. If you're going to do that yourself, try not to forget that step. It helps you a whole lot when you're doing lineups, fitments. I've already had this skin off, you know, dozens of times, and there's quite a few more to go before I get done. So you just get it up here where you want it. And then get close. Let me see if I can see the. Actually, I'll usually do the back one first. I can see it better. Actually, I'm right-handed, so I take that back. Let's go take this one. It's a juggling act for sure, and you can't always find. There we go. So you get that one, and then. It's not the easiest thing to do by yourself, but it can be done. Alright, and then we'll reshape this one. I got two at the bottom down here you probably can't see. So I'll put them in right quick. just that quick, your skin's off and back on pretty much where it came off from, because those 4 holes will put you back in the same place every time. So it's a very good alignment tool. One more thing I want to point out. This is the skin. I think this is the one I had in my video footage I shot for my planching hammer. I haven't posted that video yet because I'm not really happy with how it turned out. But I've shot a lot of footage of running that planching hammer. But I'm pretty sure I gotta pull this clamp off. This clamp is here, so when I weld it, final weld, I'll just be pulling it down to the door shell. Let me see. Come on, door, pop out on me. There. So here is, I'll move the camera in a second. So this is one-handed, but there's the crease that I fixed after it's been planished. Now this is shadows. There, that's a shadow. It doesn't really look that bad. I can't do this all one-handed, but it's straight. Now the one thing I did find out when I was hanging the doors, I wound up I had left the lip, the new skin piece, the new door bottom came with the lip turned over that you bend over for your door skin flange. I left both ends on and wound up having to cut them off to get the door to fit the shell, which I should have done a long time ago. I just was putting it off and kind of procrastinating and not wanting to do it. So I finally had to do it to get the shell to line up, and I did that. So also here, this is where I've stretched all that stretch out of it, and again you can see now, I'm not sure if you can see it, we're a little bit high again, because when I cut these ends off, that released some stretch and it pushed out a little bit on me. So I'm probably going to have to go back and do a small amount of heat shrinking in here to pull it back down. And if I can figure out how to get the camera set up and a way to do it, I'll film some of that. I know a lot of you are curious about heat shrinking. It's some mysterious lost art, and a lot of ways it is, because a lot of guys, especially you young guys that have never done it, really don't have a clue. And there's a lot of misinformation, I think, going around about heat shrinking. I know how I've done it for years. I know how I was taught to do it 40 years ago. That's hard to say out loud. So, and it's always worked for me. Now there are other ways, other old school ways of doing it. But I'll show you how I do it. Well, I have been studying these doors some more, and these patch panels I bought, at least for this passenger door, these things they're junk. I hate to use that word, but they don't fit they just don't fit. I was fitting and checking, and come to find out, and I'll try my best to show you. Let me open the door. Well, it's kind of hard to do with the door open. So there's the rocker panels I put on. These are also replacements from that same company, Tri Plus, I think. Look how much bow. There's a 1/4 of an inch of bow. Look, I can take this ruler and run it all the way out. That much. There's a 1/4 inch of bow in that rocker panel, front to back. It's a big curve. The other door, the driver's door, has a small amount of that, but not nearly as much. That's awful. That's ridiculous. I know you really can't see it because of the amount of light. I don't have a lot of light back there, but oh my God. Maybe you can see the front. I don't know. And on top of that, as I said, this bottom half of this door is also new. It's also got the same damn bow in it. I'm in the way again. I don't know. I might take the blame for some of that from when I put it in, but I just don't. And again, the driver's door is not nearly as bad as this, so it's almost like it's just in this side. Well, for me, it is just in this side. I don't know. I'm not trying to talk bad about these people. I know hundreds of people, probably thousands, that bought these panels. And I can't imagine they all had the same trouble I'm having. So did I get some seconds, or am I an idiot, or Oh my goodness. And I've got another old C10 around here that I went and checked. I thought, well, maybe it's made that way from the factory. No, the rockers and the bottom of the door are straight. There's no curve. There's no big old butt curve in the outside of them. So I don't know. What I can pretty much tell you from the rocker panel, when it was stamped, the ends are sucked in. You know, the middle is out here, and then the way when they stamped it, the end curled in. I don't know why. I mean, you can open the door and see it clear as day. Maybe you can't because you're not here, but I can clearly see it plain as day where the ends curl in. So I don't know what. I just don't know. So I guess I've got to cut this damn rocker panel down and slice it down through here or something and straighten it. I don't know. That's just absolutely disgusting. I've already had to, as I said, I've already had to cut up the rear side of this inner panel and the front, and I got to cut it up some more. That's what I was out here doing, was figuring out how I'm going to cut it, when I realized the rest of this metal's got this big old bow in it. So what I'm going to do, what I was about to do, I had to cut this, and I got a big old cut right there where I had to raise the bottom up because the bottom was jammed into the bottom of the jam. Now some of that could be misalignment on my part, but I don't think so. The upper door is fitting really good. I could have put this piece in with the ass hung down. I don't think I did, because I was real careful. You know, anything can happen. I mean, mistakes happen. So what I had to do, I had to cut right here and raise this up, and then that got me some gap right here. I'm still really close right here. You can't really see it, but there's less than 1/8 of an inch right here. So I got to get some more gap. I'm in the way of my light, I know. I got to get some more gap right here. So what I'm going to do, this end of this panel feels like it's got a big bow in the outside of it. So I'm going to try to hammer and dolly this down. I had split and reshaped all this. I don't even remember why I had to do that. I could have reshaped it a little bit wrong, who knows. Anyway, I'm going to get a hammer and dolly out and see if I can take this out. I'm probably going to wind up having to split it and pull it in a little bit. So, I'm going to set the camera up and see if I can figure out what I'm going to do, and I'll film it. Whether you'll be able to see what I'm doing or not, who knows. But let me set the camera up and we'll go. I am really damn disgusted over the bottom of this door. I don't want to fix it, but it's going to look like crap if I don't. Golly. But anyway. Alright, I'm not sure what you can see and what you can't see. I'll probably work it from this side. I don't have a lot of light over here either. That didn't do a damn thing. I'm just trying to dolly this back side a little bit flatter. See if I can flatten it a little bit. Whether I can or not, I don't know. Bottom of the door is so jacked up. It's a shame, really, that you can't buy good stuff. That didn't, well, that did a little, but not a lot, not enough. That's not going to be enough. I'll have to split it. I'm going to have to split it right here and then bring it forward some. Hate to do that, but I'm going to have to do it. I don't have enough clearance. I'm scared. That's not much. That's not a whole lot of clearance right there. See if I can roll that in a little bit. Moved it. That definitely moved it. But it's enough. That might, I might could live with that. Alright, I'm sitting here on my thinking stool. I even opened the door, and you can sight down that panel, and it's just obvious there's a big old butthole, or not a butthole, a big old moon in it. It is just, it's terrible. I don't know. I never thought to check that one out before I put it on. Did I do something to it? But I know it don't fit now. It's horrible. Man, if I ever do this again, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got another, super secret here. I got another C10 project behind this one. So, and I've already got it here. It's out in the back 45 or back one. And I checked the rockers on the bottom of the doors, and they're straight. There's no big old curve. So if I have to do the same thing to that truck I did to this one, I'm gonna have to come up with a different game plan. Make my own panels or something. I've got more tools now. I might just make my own panels. But that's a discussion for another day. So I think what I'm going to do, I've got to split this all the way down through here and then push it in. And I could do it on the truck, but I think I pretty much trust the end's going to hang out where it's at. My two ends are good. I'm going to go ahead and take the door off and split it and tack it back together where I think it needs to go. Put it back on the truck, and if I need to adjust it, I can cut the tacks and move it. Alright, I've got it cut, set up. I know you can't see it. I'm going to cut the bottom of the door shell. Man, let me show you this. It's horrible. I don't know why I didn't see this before, or maybe I did and just thought it was the way it's supposed to be. This tape line across here, look how damn crooked that thing is. I don't know if you can see it, but man is it crooked. I can see it here because I'm looking at it. You probably can't tell, but it's just crooked as a snake. Got a big old crown in it. I don't know. Alright, I turned the camera around or I turned the door around, moved the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So I went ahead and had to make a couple of cuts. I got it split here. Basically all I'm trying to do is a combination of hammering, trying to hammer and see what I got and see how big of a mess I'm making, because I know I can fix it, but I am worried about it. That end back there is tailing off so bad. I really got to get this end to bend. The front's okay, it's got to bend. Most of that bends in the back. I got the bend is in the back. I'm probably going to wind up having to bridge some gaps, which I don't like, but I mean, it's sheet metal, it can be done. That helps. That helps. That looks a little more straight. That's close. I don't like the front either yet, but better. It's hooked over, so that's how much more I got to cut out. I got to cut some more out right here. It's still lapping. It's lapping over, which actually is okay. Well, it's not okay. Okay. Let me cut out a little bit of this. Right there. This kind of stuff here, it's tedious, it's aggravating. You just got to go slow and take your time. You get in there and cut too much and try to get greedy with it, you'll wind up screwing up. Alright, I got this trimmed up and ground down, but I'm going to go ahead and tack it right quick. So hold on. And yes, I should be using my straight edge, but I already knew that's about where I wanted that metal right there anyway, so I just went with it. We're really pretty much right where I want it. Come on. It'll be easy to move once I get some tacks on it. It's amazing what getting the heat turned out right will do for a tack wheel, or any wheel for that matter. I may have put a little bit too much this way in it, and if I did, I can cut these couple tacks here and it'll pop out, because I've got it pushed in some extra. It's overlapped for sure, so I've got room to undo it and let it spring out a little bit. That's why I did it that way. Give me some room. Alright, I'll get it flipped. I'll get it off and put it back on the truck, and then we'll see how it fits. Alright, sitting here looking at this rocker panel again. I got the door off so I can show it to you better a little bit, I think, where you'll be able to see it better. So here's my straight edge. So you can now see that gap right there. That's a 1/4 of an inch gap. And it's straight till right there at the, you can't see my finger, but right there at the curve, and it tails in. Back here at the back is not as bad, but it does the same thing. There's still a gap there. And I didn't notice that when I put this thing together. It had to have been there, I just didn't see it. So I've been studying on what to do. My first thought was, whoa, here's the other thing. It's square, it's straight. It's straight up here at the door jamb. See there? That does not bend at all. So if I was to cut right here, it'd be a big old inner, concave circle right here, and against that would look very strange. You'd look down and see that. It'd be very obvious that it's not right. So after sitting here and thinking on it for a while, I think the best thing to do is leave this alone. This area is good. I'm gonna split it right here and pull this end out on the front and the back. Now that will affect how the fender fits, that will affect how the fender fits, you know, against right here. But I got room to pull the fender out. You can only go in so far. And I've already had this fender hung once when I put the rockers on, and it fit with it, I think, being pushed pretty much all the way in. Which now makes sense. If I pull this out, then I'll be able to pull the fender out a little bit. Then I got to watch the door fit. All these things fit together in one big magic puzzle. That's why I was saying earlier, I've got to hang the fender just to check my final fit before I call it done. So that's how I'm going to fix that, is to split the front and open it up. Not now. I still got to get the door back on there with the skin and finish checking that fit and then hang the fender. So I'm about to hang the door back on here again, and we'll see how it's fitting now. What a mess. Alright, here's the passenger door again. I had to go back and look at my pictures, photographs I took, to remember what I had done, because I couldn't remember exactly what all I had to do. So this piece all up in here is the this is the original. Oh, this is the replacement piece. Over here, the fit was so bad that from the way this piece was made, I cut out the original section and welded it back in. Right in here. I think I'll look at the pictures again, but I think this down here was the new repop. This is the original welded in, and then right here the fit was horrible, so I cut the original piece out and cut it back in. Right, ow, right. I think the cut line stopped right there, somewhere right along in there. Well, this is the end down here. I should have bolted the hinge on. I was having trouble getting the hinge to go to its full adjustment, and turns out the end of it down here was formed wrong. It was hitting the back of the hinge, right down here on the butt of the hinge. That's why I cut that square out. I'm going to go back and make a new piece to go in there. You can see how it's cut out right here. That was a straight cut, and I had to hammered that out to form that little bend. It's not there yet, but anyway, I got to come back and weld in a piece right there in order to let this hinge get its full adjustment. So if you guys are using those repop panels, that's another thing to be on the lookout for. They are anyway. So I'm going to hang the door. I'm not sure if I've already filmed hanging this door, so I'll film it again just in case. I usually start by putting the top hinge, getting the bolt in the top hinge, and then go from there. And again, this door is empty, so it's light. There's no door skin, it's light. Alright, one bolt. And then the rest of the bolts. Alright, I'm gonna get my initial set before I close it. I kind of know where it's fitting. The bottom needs to be pulled in towards me all the way, so I'm gonna do that first. And the top, I don't remember. I'm just going to put the top about halfway in its travel. And the travel this way. Right about right there. Alright, let's see what we got. Very gently, when you're first starting out, don't go slamming the door so you don't know what you got. Well. Alright, let's see what we got here. Top needs to go in. Top side of the door's got to go in, cause it's in the door frame like this. The top's got to go over. I had moved that bottom hinge, so I got the height about right. Might be a little low, just a little bit maybe. Yeah, it's a little low. Let me pull the top in. I know I've mentioned it before. The door gaskets make a huge difference in how tight these doors shut. See, I'm going in. In? Was it in? Yeah, in. The door gaskets make a big difference in how these doors shut. So before I call the adjustment final, I'm going to put the door gaskets in. I've already bought the replacements for it. Well, that's better. I'm looking at my gap up and down my A-pillar, see how straight it is. That looks better. Now keep in mind when you're twisting your door, you're bringing the top in or out. The bottom's going just the opposite way. So bring the top in, the bottom comes out. All that's gotta play nice in this big puzzle. Let me raise it up just a little bit, because and then the other adjustment you have on the firewall on the A-pillar is to tilt the door front, front and back this way. So right now my bottom back here is too low. So I can either pull this hinge up or push that hinge forward, one of the two. They'll both cause the same movement once you give out adjustment. And I already loosened that one, so I know it's probably too far forward, so I'm gonna pull it back a little, pull it back this way some. That'll raise the tail of my. When the tail comes up, this gap's gonna close though. So as I said, you gotta watch this big puzzle. And small movements. It doesn't take much in these hinge adjustments. Yeah. These, you can look, I got the skin off there, I can look right here and see. No, I need to bring it up just a little bit more. Well, I don't know, that's close. That's really close. When the skin gets back on it, I need to put the skin on it. That's close enough for the moment. Just snug deep down to make sure. Okay. So now we're back on there again. So check out that fitting I had done. Yeah, let me cut these 3 tacks right here loose. I'll cut these 2 first. See what happens. I did overdo it, and I knew I kind of did the other night when I was doing this. So let me cut those right quick. I still need some tweaking to get it fit right, but at least the in and outs kind of there. That's why I didn't want to do this on the doors on the truck to start with. I knew it'd be aggravating. Difficult to do. I think that's pretty good. Alright, let's put the skin back on. Clecos, man, it makes this so easy. Y'all don't have Clecos and doing this kind of stuff, get you a set. Alright. Way faster than screws. Alright, now I can check my door alignment. My bottom of the door is kicked out. It's got to go in, according to the quarter panel. So we can fix that. All right, let me pull the bottom of the door in. Your fit back here against your quarter panel is solely determined as far as how far in and out it is. It's solely determined by the in and out right here. Now you can adjust the tightness by the striker, but as far as the twist of it, it's solely on these two hinges. So let me pull the bottom in a little bit. Actually, I think it is already in. Which means I know it is. That means the top's got to go out. So when the top goes out, the bottom comes in, the top goes out. So you got to do it that way. And it don't, again, these are small adjustments. They don't take a lot. Once you get close and you're finalizing, small adjustments. Sometimes it's hard to get them perfect. Especially now that this door's the bottom's been all jacked up. That's what I'm trying to do, is get it fixed so I can get it like I like it. We're still, wait, is the skin in all the way? Skin could be proud. Yep. We still I'm still not liking the fit. I mean, I may have to drive this piece in back here. I don't want to do it. How come I never have a light when I want it? I still ain't hung the fender yet. I gotta hang the fender for the final say. That's not where it should be. There's no doubt about that. The top's already kicked out more than I'd like it now. Well, I'll move it a little more. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. That may be all it's got right there. Yeah, that's all it's got. So if that don't do it, then yeah. That got it close, but the gap up front is, well, it's not horrible. It's out. I think it is out further than it should be, but it's not horrible. It is out some though. Now, as I was saying, the striker right here, the door, when you latch it, will pivot on the striker and the rubbers on the inside. So it may be that I could probably take that. That's still not great. And that's all. I got my alignment all the way out and in, which is not how it should be, honestly. I'm gonna have to hang that fender. And I've been knowing that. I've just been putting it off because I didn't want to do it. But I've got to know how it's fitting the fender to really be able to tell. The way it's looking now, I'm gonna have to cut this piece back here to pull this corner. This corner's got to pull in. Damn it. I ain't surprised. That's that repop mess down there. I'm not surprised. Alright, I'm going to end this door video here. I said I wasn't going to make this a long video or a two-part or anything, but there's just so much material I want to cover. I explained a lot, I showed a lot of it. I actually cut a lot of stuff out. I still got over 2 hours of footage. This is not a simple process that I went through. It's not complicated, it's just time consuming. And I had to fix so much, and I wanted to make sure I was doing it right. There's a lot to cover. So I'm going to do it in 2 parts. Plus, I got a third video, not part 3. It's just about how to weld up a gap. With bridging, sculpting weld, bridging a weld with a weld bead. I'm not sure if I posted that before this video or after this video, but I've got all the footage for all 3 of them shot. I'm just trying to get them edited down and get them posted. There's a part 2 where I finish it up. So be on the lookout for that one. And I got another video, as I said, where I show how to weld up. I had a big, is this the one? Yeah, over there. I had a very large gap that I wound up creating when I cut the skins apart, and instead of trying to form little bitty pieces, I bridged it and sculpted it with weld bead. So I've got a video just on how to do that. It's not something a lot of people talk about, but it works, you can do it. So anyway, that's the end of this part 1 video, so thanks for being here. I hope you're learning something. I hope I'm not boring you. I'm sorry this is a long or drawn out video again, but I'm trying to explain things in detail, and you can't do that in a 30-minute highlight package. I've been doing some looking on the internet, and turns out there's a lot of other people complaining about these patch panels not fitting right too, so it's not just me. Makes me feel a little bit better. So if some of you out there have found this situation and got yourself into it, I'm showing you how I fixed it. Don't feel bad about cutting stuff up, especially a repop. Repops, if you had, like I said before, if you had original GM sheet metal and it wasn't fitting right, yeah, you probably screwed up. But these repops, man, all bets are off. You got to make these things fit, because they do not fit correctly. By God, this one doesn't, or didn't. So anyway, I'll stop rambling. Damn mosquitoes are back. Anyhow, like I said, do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave me a comment. Tell me if you're doing this or not doing this, or whatever. And y'all, I will catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now. You hear? Happy welding.